Everybody,
Morning.
and welcome to our general session for November the 19th, 2019. We will begin this morning's session with the Pledge of Allegiance led by Commissioner Boyce.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And we'll need the approval of minutes of August 15 and October 3rd, 2019 briefing session.
So moved.
Second.
Moved in second and voting, Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
The minutes from August 15th and October 3rd briefing sessions have been adopted.
Thank you. Okay, we get started with the county engineer.
Resolution number 825-19, Shrewsbury and Associates LLC Consulting Engineers appointing to assist the Franklin County Engineer in preparing right-of-way and construction plans for simplified bridge projects Hempstead Road 1.29 over tributary to Spring Run and Schleppe Road 0.97 over tributary of Rocky Fork Creek, Franklin County, Ohio, in the amount of $145,831.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
My name is Cornell Robertson, County Engineer for every resident, every day. With me today,
John Maynard, Real Estate Administrator.
Good morning.
Morning.
Commissioners, this first resolution is for design contract with Shrewsbury and Associates for two bridge replacements. The first being Hempstead Road over a tributary of Spring Run in Blendon Township, and the second, Schleppe Road over a tributary of Rocky Fork Creek in Plain Township. We utilize the qualifications-based selection process and recommend your approval.
Okay. If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 825-19.
Second.
Moved in second and voting, Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Resolution number 825-19 has been adopted. Resolution number 826-19, Kimley Horn and Associates Incorporated, consulting engineers appointed to assist the Franklin County Engineer in performing preliminary engineering for the Morse Road at U.S. Route 62 Improvement Project, Plain Township and Jefferson Township, Franklin County, Ohio, in the amount of $77,598.
Commissioners, as stated, this resolution is for a preliminary design contract with Kimley Horn and Associates to help us expand the capacity of the roundabout at Morse Road and Johnstown Road in the northeast part of Franklin County.
If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 826-19.
Second.
Moved in second and voting, Commissioner Boyce? Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Resolution number 826-19 has been adopted. Resolution number 827-19, resolution approving plans for improvements on Bright Road, the City of Dublin, Perry Township, Franklin County, Ohio.
Commissioners, this is a roadway improvement project in the northwest part of Franklin County. Would be administered by the City of Dublin. Will include street improvements to Bright Road, water line extension, sanitary sewer line extension, and will also cul-de-sac Bright Road just east of Riverside Drive.
If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 827-19.
Second.
Moved in second and voting, Commissioner Boyce? Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Resolution number 827-19 has been adopted. Resolution number 828-19, report forth of the Franklin County Engineer establishing sums of compensation for a portion of the owners of property abutting the Reynoldsburg New Albany Road at Clark State Road Improvement Project, Jefferson Township, Franklin County, Ohio, in the amount of $6,000.
Yes, Commissioners, this resolution is for property owner that abuts the property at Clark State RNA and Reynoldsburg New Albany Road. This is a compensation of property owner as negotiated through the fair market value established in the appraisal process.
If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 828-19.
Second.
Moved in second and voting, Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Resolution number 828-19 has been adopted.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. The sheriff.
Resolution number 829-19, resolution authorizing a contract with Ohio Health to provide occupational health services for the Franklin County Sheriff's Office in the amount of $49,000.
Good morning, Commissioners. Dave Masterson, Director of Administrative Services, representing Sheriff Dallas Baldwin. Passage of this resolution approves a contract with Ohio Health to perform occupational health services such as pre-employment drug screens, physical exams, and tuberculosis testing. Any questions? I ask approval of this resolution.
If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 829-19.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting, Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Commissioner Brown.
Yes.
Resolution number 829-19 has been adopted.
Thank you.
Thank you. The county recorder.
Resolution number 830-19, resolution authorizing the set-aside for the Recorder's Technology Fund for calendar year 2020.
Good morning.
Good morning, Melissa Messina, Chief of Staff for Recorder Danny O'Connor. The first resolution that we're up here for is just the renewal of the same fee amount that was allocated for 2019 for the tech fund. If approved, the proposal would allocate an estimated $630,000 of the fees collected to the Recorder's Technology Fund. Just a few key things that we're planning on spending the money on in 2020 is a new high-speed scanner, which is at the cost of about $10,000. And we're also going to upgrade one of our Meckel machines, which is what takes film. Now that we have more storage capacity for digital files, it takes the old stuff from film that has already been put on film or microfiche and puts it back into a digital format. It sounds counterproductive, but it's more helpful for those folks now who have to go through those things rather than looking at a scanner or a microfiche reader, which are slowly going away. So, pending any questions, I'd ask for your approval.
If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 830-19.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting, Commissioner Boyce. Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Commissioner Brown.
Yes.
Resolution number 830-19 has been adopted.
And I know we've got another resolution that pertains to you, but is under Board of Commissioners, so why don't we go ahead and do that now?
Resolution number 831-19, resolution authorizing the abolishment of the registered land system in Franklin County.
Good morning, Commissioners. Chris Long, Deputy County Administrator. So this is the final resolution on the abolishment of land registration system in Franklin County. And as you all know, as a brief recap, and it is captured in the resolution itself, on August 27th, this board adopted a resolution to consider abolishing the registered land system. We had the public hearing in front of this body with the required stenographer to obtain information about the cost-benefit analysis of land registration. And now the Recorder's Office has compiled that cost-benefit analysis. OMB has reviewed it, and we recommend to you that the land registration system be abolished. What this resolution would do is formally state that as a result of the review and assessment of land registration system is determined that the costs of the registered land system exceed the benefits of the continued registered land system, and that it would be hereby abolished. And Melissa and her team have spent a great amount of time, first even before it was brought to the board's attention, to bring this up for consideration.
Yes, so thank you to all of those who've helped get this to this point. It's been a long process, as we've all seen and been a part of, but thank you to Chris and Dean, who jumped into the middle of this when he first got here, and then also to Eric Sells, who did a lot of the legwork in our office that went through the old book to figure out what was still part of it and what wasn't. And thank you to the three of you for putting up with this process. We appreciate it. I do think that it's necessary just to ensure that going forward we don't get into any hiccups or any problems, and that it just kind of gets carried on as we do our work every single day in the Recorder's Office. So thank you all for your help in this process.
If there are no comments or questions,
No.
move for adoption of 831-19.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting, Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Commissioner Brown.
Yes.
Resolution number 831-19 has been adopted.
Thank you so much.
Melissa,
Yes.
would you please thank Recorder
Sure.
O'Connor
Absolutely.
for the diligence that you and he have put into doing this process? I had no idea there was such a land registration process until we got into the middle of this. And I know it took a lot of time and diligence to get us to this point. And I know that it took much longer and much more time than we ever anticipated.
I think all of us. Yes, for sure. I will, though. Thank you very much.
Court of Common Pleas.
Resolution number 832-19, resolution authorizing a contract between Alvis Incorporated and the Franklin County Board of Commissioners on behalf of the Franklin County Common Pleas Court for a medically assisted treatment program in the amount of $1,115,857.
Good morning, Commissioners. Excuse me, I got a little bit of a cold. Good morning. Kimberly Canada, Director of Finance for the Common Pleas Court, and with me is Michael Pfeiffer, our Information Technology Director. This resolution is for the agreement with Alvis Incorporated to provide the necessary resources and staff required for the Medication Assisted Treatment Program, also known as POWER. The State of Ohio Department of Rehabilitation and Corrections has made funds available to the Common Pleas Court General Division Adult Probation Department for the continuation of this program. Alvis will provide specialized programming for approximately 150 program participants with opiate addiction. Alvis will subcontract with The Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center, Talbot Hall, to administer those medications. This program will serve male and female felonies on community control supervision. Pending any questions, we request your approval.
If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 832-19.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Boyce, Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown.
Yes.
Resolution number 832-19 has been adopted.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Resolution number 833-19, resolution authorizing a modification to the contract agreement with AdviseX Consulting for the virtual desktop infrastructure assessment and an increase in the amount of the contract not to exceed $3,150 with the total contract not to exceed $50,575.
Good morning, Commissioners. Mike Pfeiffer with Common Pleas Court. This resolution approves 18 additional professional services hours required to complete remediation work on our VDI system within the courts. The remaining hours are anticipated to be completed yet this year. Pending any questions, we request your approval.
If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 833-19.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Boyce, Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown.
Yes.
Resolution number 833-19 has been adopted.
Thank you.
Thank you. Emergency Management Agency.
Resolution number 834-19, resolution authorizing a contract with Advanced Security Technologies, LLC, for the provision of the delivery and supply of mobile barricades in the amount of $250,000.
Good morning, Commissioners. Jeff Young, representing Franklin County Emergency Management and Homeland Security. Before you is a resolution to approve a contract with Advanced Security Technologies, LLC, to provide mobile vehicle barricades and a storage trailer. This regional Homeland Security project is to provide vehicle barricades for large crowd events. These barricades are to be set up to stop a vehicle from entering an event, protecting the attendees from impact and injury by vehicles. These barricades are routinely seen set up at Ohio State University home football games, where they are utilized as part of the traffic pattern, funneling vehicles through the vehicle checkpoints prior to being allowed into the area proximate to the horseshoe and the dense crowd area. With that in mind, the initial purchase for a fully stocked trailer of barricades will be provided to the OSU Department of Public Safety, who will be responsible for all ownership obligations, including ongoing storage and maintenance of the trailer. This contract is funded through a state Homeland Security grant with a not-to-exceed amount of $250,000, which will allow us to purchase a second trailer and barricades if a jurisdiction has a need and willingness to be responsible for this regional asset and its use throughout Homeland Security Region 4. I'll gladly answer questions and ask for your approval of this resolution.
If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 834-19.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Boyce, Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown.
Yes.
Resolution number 834-19 has been adopted.
Thank you.
Thank you. Fleet Management.
Resolution number 835-19, resolution authorizing the 2020 hybrid plug-in sedan purchase commitment with Reichert Ford Incorporated.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Charlotte Ashcraft, Director of Fleet Management. The first resolution before you is requesting a commitment to purchase 5 hybrid plug-in vehicles. If approved, Fleet will request a purchase order for these vehicles on the first resolution in 2020. The Commissioners have committed to environmental sustainability for years and have purchased alternative fuels for over a decade. As a partner in the Smart Cities Grant, we have already exceeded our initial purchase commitment. However, the grant is quickly approaching the final date of March 25th, 2020, and the overall vehicle purchase goal is lacking 5 vehicles. Due to timing, the vehicles need to be ordered now for them to arrive prior to March 25th. Our hybrid vehicle contract is with Reichert Ford, and if we would provide them with a commitment document, they will go ahead and order the vehicles by December 1st so that they can arrive before March 25th. Pending any questions, I respectfully request passage of this resolution.
If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 835-19.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Commissioner Brown.
Yes.
Resolution number 835-19 has been adopted. Resolution number 836-19, resolution authorizing appropriation adjustments for capital purchases.
The next resolution is requesting appropriations adjustments for capital purchases for general services. Fleet is requesting supplemental appropriations within the Fleet Capital Fund in the amount of $60,000 to allow us to purchase 2 additional vehicles before the end of the year. These vehicles are due for replacement, and we have the opportunity to purchase them now. Also in this resolution, the other part is a request for the print shop. This is a request to transfer appropriations from materials and services to capital outlays to purchase the equipment needed for the requirements in regards to the consolidation project with the data center. Pending any questions, I respectfully request passage of this resolution.
If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 836-19.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Commissioner Brown.
Yes.
Resolution number 836-19 has been adopted.
Thank you. Economic Development and Planning.
Resolution number 837-19, review of petition to annex 13.8 plus or minus acres from Hamilton Township to the Village of Obetz, case number ANX-23-19.
Good morning, Commissioners. Jenny Snap, Economic Development and Planning. This resolution is to consider an expedited Type 2 annexation petition of 13.8 acres from Hamilton Township to the Village of Obetz. The area to be annexed includes property located at, and I'm going to list all the parcels with the owners attached to it, 2611 Bixby Road, that's Douglas Showalter, 5200 Alum Creek Drive, William Paskey, 5222 Alum Creek Drive, Daryl Taylor, 5240 Alum Creek Drive, Victor and Jennifer Higginbotham, 3150 Toy Road, Gary and Julie Dowdy, 3180 Toy Road, James and Mary Davis, and 3160 Toy Road, William and Sandra Taylor. Those parcels are east of Alum Creek Drive, north of Toy Road, west of London Grove Point Road, and south of Bixby Road. Petition was filed by Agent and Attorney David Hodge of Underhill and Hodge, and Mr. Hodge is in attendance if you have any questions, on behalf of the owners aforementioned above. 16% of the site's perimeter is contiguous with Obetz, and the village passed ordinance number 37-19 on October 15th, 2019, indicating the services that will be provided once the annexation is approved and a statement regarding incompatible land uses in the zoning buffer. The petition meets all statutory requirements outlined in Section 709.021 of the Ohio Revised Code, and pending any questions, we request your approval.
If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 837-19.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Boyce. Yes. Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Commissioner Brown.
Yes.
Resolution number 837-19 has been adopted.
Thank you.
Thank you. Job and Family Services.
Resolution number 838-19, resolution approving a subaward agreement with Future Ready Columbus for the management of student data systems and collaborative program planning services in the amount of $700,000.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Joy Bivens, Director of Franklin County Department of Job and Family Services.
Carmen Barnes, Deputy Director, Job and Family Services.
Commissioners, as you know, for over several years, our agency has partnered with Future Ready Columbus to make student data from the C-Hive and Learning Circle tools available to community agencies. And many of those community agencies or nonprofit organizations that help partner with us to assist those in poverty. CHIVE tracks data for children in early learning centers to support kindergarten readiness by monitoring children's strengths as well as areas for improvement. CHIVE helps track performance and measures effectiveness of the learning program. Learning Circle is an early warning indicator intervention tool that monitors attendance, behavior, and core academics. ABC's data for K through 12 students. It also is available for many of our after-school or summer program providers. Over the last award period, approximately 55,000 students were identified with early warning indicators through the Learning Circle platform, and another 4,900 youth in after-school programs received social emotional assessments. Furthermore, nearly 5,500 children under the age of 5 benefited from CHIVE's early learning tracking platform, and Future Ready continued to provide and monitor technical assistance support coaching to 50-plus community agencies. Today we have Jane Leach with us, who is the director of Future Ready Columbus. If you would like to have her come forward.
Yes, please.
Yeah. And as she's come, I want to just make mention that Jane and her team have been very instrumental in helping us galvanize and develop more of a structured system with our Step Up to Quality efforts, as well as she's working effortlessly and tirelessly to develop a strategy for our Birth to 5.
Thank you very much, Commissioners. Thank you, Director Bivens. I want to thank you for the appropriation that Director Bivens mentioned to you. I've seen firsthand how the CHIVE data is used in early learning centers, where directors actually go through the data and talk about children individually and their progress, teaching practices, and how practices need to change to better meet the needs of children. So that's a really important data gathering tool. And then with the learning circles also, the power that's happening there is that the schools and the wraparound, the out-of-school providers are actually sitting at the table together and having conversation and sharing data and talking about the early warning indicators and how together they can address the needs of the children. That's powerful. Before, they were two separate entities. Now they're sharing conversation. But if I may, with your permission, I'd love to give you an update on Future Ready Columbus. That'd be all right with you?
Sure.
I promise to be brief because I know you have a full agenda. A lot is going on with Future Ready Columbus. As Director Bivens mentioned, we've been giving, I would say, strong leadership to the Step Up to Quality initiative. We're gathering the Ohio Department of Job and Family Services, Franklin County Department of Job and Family Services, our local R&R, the governor's office, and meeting regularly to look at the data, to look at the progress, and to talk about strategies, again, looking at data, and changing that up so that we can win this battle for STARS, for our early childhood providers. I'm personally going out on the streets. I get information from Franklin County Job and Family Services, Ohio Department of Job and Family Services. Because I've established a 5-star early learning center, I feel like I have some game to talk to providers and encourage them in this journey and find out what the barriers are, take that data back, and then we develop strategies to do that. So we are working really, really well as a team, and I'm grateful for that. I think that this will really, should make your heart sing that we've gone through the Franklin County Poverty Blueprint and pulled out all the early childhood pieces of that and have launched a group in working toward 4 specific things. And the beauty of this is it's the city and county are working together, and you'll see that in your document where we have identified 4 specific areas of focus right now. That's an executive working team. We're meeting weekly so that we can put a lot of energy and muscle behind the hard work that you have already done for us, and we appreciate that. Director Bivens mentioned that with county and city input, again, Commissioner Brown and Mayor Ginther have asked Future Ready to develop a strategic plan for our county so that 100% of our children by 2030 will be ready for kindergarten success. And so we've put together an early childhood advisory council. You'll see on the second page of the briefing just how this flows. We have several work teams going, and Future Ready is providing leadership for that. It takes a village to reach that goal. And we've been given a timeline of this spring, this summer, to have a plan in place. It's aggressive, and we're doing some heavy lifting. So to do that, I mentioned we have the Early Childhood Advisory Council. That's a group of 36 executives that give us executive level advice and push ideas, poke around in thoughts and ideas and plans that we bring before them. We meet quarterly. There's a planning, Future Ready by 5 planning team. From those 36, we've pulled the strategic thinkers, and they are the ones that are responsible for this, really giving leadership along with us for this plan development. And then we take that back to the Early Childhood Advisory Council. And I mentioned the executive work team where we're working on the blueprint. So along the lines, you'll see that the Early Childhood Advisory Council, the planning team, to make this based in real world systems, we actually are then pull together advisory groups, teams of people as the plan is developing. If we need to hear from school superintendents, we pull them together. If we need to hear from new Americans, we pull them together. If we need to hear from the LGBTQ community, we pull them together. So that information feeds the planning. Planning goes to the executive team pushes it around, then we take it back to every month we meet with the city and the county to provide updates. So we're busy. Great things are going on, and we are starting on a firm foundation in this county and have no place to go but better, 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 better. So thank you for your time, and thank you for your support. It's very much appreciated. I would be happy to meet with you anytime you'd like to meet, if you'd like more regular updates.
Jane, what part of the Future Ready Backbone Agency is working on putting together the dollars or identifying the dollars necessary for understanding what it's going to take to make sure that kids are ready for kindergarten by 2030?
We're providing leadership for that, and then certainly the executive work team weighs in on that with county and city representation. The ECAC weighs in on that. Because they have the 36 executives have such a strong voice around our county, we look to them. Ultimately, it will come down to the team, I would say the executive work team, that includes a pretty tight group of city and county employees and leaders in our community to get that done.
And Commissioners, I've spoken with Jane and some people on the team just to add, we need to especially look at what's already being leveraged and as we're looking at 2030 as a part of that strategy.
Right, and actually we're looking at what exists, what money, what those money flow, where the money is flowing from, where the gaps are, what's necessary to fill.
Correct.
Yeah.
What we wanted to do is first identify what works and what's working, what best practices would suggest, and separate out what resources were needed, what we're already spending before we looked at anything new.
That's what I was getting at.
Needed. Absolutely. We did not want money driving the system of what was needed.
That's what I was getting at.
We did not want to even entertain that discussion in.
Well, when it first came up, the first
Oh, I
questions asked
know.
were, how do we come up with more dollars
I
for this
know,
session?
and I said, I don't want to be part of the system.
That's perfect.
We feel
until we really know what's needed and what we're already spending and what's working. And
Right.
Director
We had a conversation with you in
Bivens
the
and
Perfect.
my staff were involved with that discussions all the way along. We've been trying to separate out what we really need to do from how we fund it.
Thank you.
So
Thanks for
we're
arguing that,
not
Laura.
You're welcome. It's my pleasure.
talking about the resource issue yet.
Great.
I'd just like to add to that. I mean, I would say in the most respectful way, I have a slightly different perspective on this conversation, and want to thank you for your presentation because I feel like you addressed a lot of my questions in your versus the briefing versus your presentation today. I felt like because all data oriented, we want to know where we're moving the needle and whatnot. But the concern I have with the Future Ready model is the shift from the sort of whole from P16 and sort of the range of impact on this our citizenry, if you will, to the sort of zeroed in structure of 0 to 5, and that's okay, but it's a deviation from which the model was created originally, the model it's based off of, which is Strive, and in some of the work that originated in Cincinnati, Ohio. And so I just, not that I'm saying it's wrong, I'm only saying, as we get into the poverty work, what I've learned in traveling the country with the Gates Foundation and NACO over the last year is that the discipline in moving the needle is being disciplined to the work long term. And it's very difficult to see short-term results. We get so moved because reporters, no offense, write about, no offense to you, Mark, but reporters tend to write about, and we as politicians, quite frankly, we seek the short-term movements. And because that's what gets the attention to say whether or not we're doing a job. But the real discipline in our poverty work is going to be the long-term commitment to seeing incremental improvements and changes, but it's that commitment. And so as we zero in on 0 to 5, which I think is a very good area, I still have concerns in the bigger picture where we started in this work years ago. And it, quite frankly, precedes you,
preceded
Jane.
me, right.
But I just, that deviation to me, it's almost like starting the clock over. It's almost like saying, the work that we did initially, and even your board was created with this sort of holistic, a grab of the P through 16. Because remember, reading all this data now about the most vulnerable age, you got 0 to 5 is the crucial sort of intellectual age, but then you've got middle school that becomes the sort of age, what we call it, what's the use the term, opportunity
yes.
for us to really capture, and so I'm not trying to diminish what was said. I'm only saying I know this work very well, and I as we get into the poverty work, and it could change. I'm not right about it. It could be anybody's, but I want us to be disciplined about staying the course, even though we don't see the sort of short-term wins that reporters like to write about or public grade us on typically.
Well, and to address that, actually, the focus changed, and County Administrator Wilson could talk about this, in the summer of 17. That's when the board decided to change the focus because a couple things work together towards your point. The so much research and so much more information and knowledge is available about those early years and the brain development and the early literacy development, the social emotional health that happens when we invest in families, children, and the system that supports them. And then to your point, there's the long game. When we invest soundly and truly and purposefully and very strategically in the lives of prenatal, actually, it's before children are even born, prenatal to age 5, if we can play the long game, which we have to, this is the day for our county to do this, we will see less disruption, dysfunction, challenges. We will in elementary school, middle school, high school, and into adulthood. But you talk about a long game, that's a long one. That's why we're saying, I think it's aggressive to say kindergarten ready by 2030, but those children are going to be born in 2025 to be ready. So when we do the hard work, the strategic, thoughtful, collaborative work now, when those children are born, it's going to work. So we are talking about a long game, for sure.
I agree, and I don't want to hold up our meeting because there's other folks on the agenda, but I'd ask that we follow up with a meeting in my office or in your office, wherever. And Director, I'd like you to be there as well because I want to make sure we're connecting the dots on the blueprint. But here's the one point I'll make though, is that 0 to 5 is not, and I know you're not saying this, but this is why I want to keep us focused on this sort of P16 perspective. Continuum. Excellent.
Continuum, yes.
Because there are factors that will not be impacted by pedagogy. They will be impacted by the home and by the neighborhood, by the community, and there's so many pieces that still have to be linked to that 0-5 for it to be successful. And I get concerned when we zero in, because I really, and I just think I really liked when Future Ready was the P16 sort of perspective, because it's the only thing out there that sort of tries to capture the complete person, in along the way. And so I want to see more of that, and I'm hoping that our poverty work will allow us to fill in those gaps
Most definitely.
where it falls off now from that. But to me, that's what the initial model was with Future Ready and Strive and what was created in Cincinnati, Ohio. So we're a long way from that, and it is fine, but I just want to keep the dots connected.
And Commissioner, I will tell you that in the work that they're doing, not just looking at education, Jane and her team are looking at those supportive services, but I also think, Commissioner, I would like to have a follow-up meeting with you as well to talk about some of the other players in that space now.
Right.
Now that they've identified 0 to 5, can we now sit down and look at the other players, the after-school providers, the Boys and Girls Club, all these other enrichment programs that we are funding, to say now we have moved the cheese. Now versus just working on this piece of poverty, we want to make sure that we insulate and put those supportive services around you to get to the point that very point that you're talking about. You can't keep doing the same thing the same way. But I think what Jane is doing, including those supportive services in the work, that's very inclusive. But I don't know if our other providers, I know there's some of it, but I don't know if it's to the broad base that you would like to see.
Kenneth Wilson, County Administrator. President Brown, Commissioner O'Grady, Commissioner Boyce. I just would like to speak briefly on this topic. I got to take some ownership, as I saw the executive director look out at me because I was on the board when she came on as our executive director and a part of the change in the charge. And what happened over the period of time working on this was, quite frankly, the board came to a realization that we couldn't refine a focus by having the board look from pre-birth to age 24. I think that was where we started when my predecessor, Don Brown, and then Director Anthony Trotman, it was Learn for Life. It was pre-birth to age 24, I believe, from the cradle all the way through building your career. And what happened was that we could not get our arms around the outcomes and setting the benchmarks that the community expect, even in the long run. So a decision was made to try to refine our focus around pre-birth to age 5. And quite frankly, a lot of work still needs to be done to develop those metrics that the community can wrap their arms around, because it's not just a City of Columbus, it's not just a City of Columbus city schools issue. We must do this countywide.
Absolutely.
So right now, the Future Ready Board has quite a bit of the ocean to still drink and sort out. And that's why it was very helpful to talk about earlier that this advisory board must set out a course, and I would even argue test that course before we can even begin to think about changing a funding scheme to address this countywide to cover all of the children that are at a pre-K stage. Because there's been a lot of early conversation around a property tax levy. It was even contemplated very early based upon what happened in some other communities around the country. But I think that we are not at the point to determine the amount of millage, for, let's say, to address this issue. So I think that there's quite a bit of work to be done. I think that we are in a great position to have the Rise Together Franklin County Blueprint, so that we can collaborate and put the pieces together. Director Bivens and her agency plays a major role in that, because AMP has to be successful. For example, when we talk about the 14 to age 24 age group, we got to put together programming with federal dollars, and we got to find additional dollars to serve the opportunity youth. And then we still, I think, a missing piece. The answer may be there, is to pick up those children from 3rd grade all the way through middle school.
Well, I think we're also not even talking about the families that are the parents and grandparents and aunts and uncles of these children that need to be part of the mix, because without the families surrounding these children, we're not going to get it very far. So it's more a two-generation solution. And what we're talking about today is the children, the 0 to 5, and I think that's critically important for somebody to focus on those children. But surrounding them are the other agencies, the other supports around that of the two-generation support services to help the families that help those children succeed, and what we need to do to help those families be successful. And, we can't forget that.
Right, and if we talk about resources to the AMP's position, AMP is for the 14 to 24, 16 to 24, I can't remember the age right now. Currently, right now, we're probably servicing, 1,400 youth in that system. We have 20,000 of those opportunity youth.
Mm-hmm.
So when we talk about resources, we have to be able to identify outsourced resources if we're really, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Those are the ones we're able to service with the dollars that we have been designated.
Yeah, we spent yesterday talking about the youth portal, and that's just one component of it, to be more efficient and effective to connecting youth to jobs, which now we have to move beyond just 8 to 10 week summer jobs. We have to look at creating additional year-round opportunities for certain categories of individuals. So there's a lot of work to try to be done. I think that through the blueprint we can bring the subject matter experts together, because I'm not an educator, but we spend a lot of time collectively looking at how do we, I do think, Commissioner Boyce, I agree 100%, it's got to be through P through 16, because you got to prepare everybody for a career and create career pathways for individuals that may not be looking at a 4-year college, for example. We got to continue to match them with the jobs that are in the community. I was just talking this morning to the director of the CFA. It said that it's $6 billion in construction projects coming online in this community right now. And just think about the jobs and the skills that we need to effectively fill those positions to bring down costs.
Well, Madam President, Commissioner O'Grady, and Administrator, I think that what I'd like to do is have a deeper dive and invite you to the meeting as well, and let's just kind of have this conversation, because I'm not trying to be antagonistic here, but I carry a different perspective with a different background on this, and I just think I want to reconcile the conversation, because it's not that I don't think this is a good strategy and focus, but in the context of what it was started to what it was meant to be, what future what was it before? Learning for Life. I can't remember the name. Learning for Life was initially created to be, which is today's Future Ready. It's the same organization, for those who don't know. That was why it was created, and I just think whenever you sort of switch the strategy, there's got to be a reconciliation of why, and I understand that. But here's my point, and I'll shut up on this. The data is going to change. It's always going to be. 5 years from now, the population will shift. There will be different things. Baby boomer ages will kick in. Our census data will tell us a lot, and we'll begin to. It could tell us a different. And then we can't be reactive to that current sort of data shift, and we've got to stay the course of what we're trying to accomplish in the big scheme of things, knowing that in the end, there's this mosaic of Franklin County that's going to look like what we can't predict from now. And so that's what Learning for Life strive. That's what the Future Ready model was initially created to do. And so I'm just saying, when we change that up, I don't disagree that it's real. I just think that we should reconcile those other pieces out there to make sure we don't miss that in the long term. So I invite this meeting. I'll organize it in my office, and we'll just have this conversation and just roll our sleeves up and try to reconcile it and go from there.
The reason that I raised the question that I raised around funding was, we've just had a half an hour or 20 minutes rigorous debate or conversation about, what this all looks like and what it all means, and whether it's 0 to 5 or cradle to career or learn for life or P16 or, what this looks like and where is it and where's it going and what should it be. And, but way back at the beginning of this, a few 3-4 months ago, the first question I got was, are we going to do a property tax levy to fund all this? And, let's talk about money and let's talk about funding. And I said, wait a second. There's a ton of money in this system already.
Right.
There's a whole bunch of money out there being spent by a whole lot of people already. Why are we talking about a property tax levy? Not a good idea. Not where we ought to be. Not what we ought to be talking about. We should be sitting down and talking about what are we thinking about? What's this look like? What are we doing?
Right.
How much money are we spending already? Who's spending it? What's it going to cost? And oh, by the way, there's probably plenty of money in the system already. There's probably plenty of money out there being spent already, and we can probably fund it in a different way already. And so why are we talking about a property tax levy? And that's the reason why I raised the question I raised this morning.
We're
And so-
looking at the infant mortality task force model at the moment.
So that's-
and bringing them into the fold as part of.
That was the only reason I raised the
Yes.
question this morning, was simply
Yeah.
that this is a gigantic conversation.
Mhm.
We're a little premature on a lot of this stuff.
Absolutely.
We have a lot of ground to cover. There's a lot of debate to be had. There's a lot of conversation we should be
Clearly.
having. I think it's fantastic. I'm excited about it. But we just have a lot of conversation we have to have, that's all. So I'm very excited. I'm very excited about the work that's being done. Very excited about where this is going. I think it's fantastic. I just don't want to put the cart before the horse, that's all.
Commissioners, this resolution supports goal number 11 of the Rise Together Blueprint. Pending any questions, I would ask for your approval of this resolution.
If there are no further comments or questions, move for adoption of 838-19.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Resolution number 838-19 has been adopted.
And I say thank you.
Thank you.
Well, we'll be together. Thank you.
Yep.
Resolution number 839-19, resolution approving subaward agreement with NAMI Franklin County Incorporated and Partners Achieving Community Transformation Pact for Youth Enrichment Programming in the amount of $140,000.
Commissioners, today, our annual Science Project Day from
Ah.
our friends from PAC. But I'm going to read the resolution so they can start getting set up, and I'm going to let you know who's in the room. We have our guest, T. Street, who's the program director and the principal, India Wilson, in Eastgate Elementary, and students from Eastgate. The Franklin County Youth Council, as you know, was created in 2016. Its mission is to provide council members with leadership training and give them a voice at the table when it comes to creating and implementing public program policies that impact their lives. You all can come. The Youth Council was made up of 40 high school students who represent Franklin County's diverse communities and constituencies, including those from immigrant communities, LGBTQ, and TANF-eligible youth, as well as those involved in children's services and the juvenile justice system. Council members meet twice a month in addition to volunteering for various community activities, meeting with local officials, planning youth dialogues, and more. This resolution would permit NAMI, which has been a partner since the council's inception, to continue to serve fiduciary agent for the upcoming contract period. This resolution will also continue to fund PAC's Health Science Academy, which I love, programming and co-curricular experiences students across 7 different near East Side Columbus City schools, East High School, Champion Middle School, and Eastgate, Ohio Avenue, East Columbus, Trevitt, and Beatty Park Elementary Schools. Through this partnership with Ohio State, Columbus State, and Nationwide Children's Hospitals, children will be able to take part in hands-on experiential learning, project-based learning, and all within a program curriculum that aligns with district and state science standards. It will also fund the second year of PAC's Parent University Workshop Series, which is designed to provide parents and caregivers with resources to become better educational partners and advocates for their children. I have to read this entire Christmas tree resolution because they're still setting up. The resolution will also support goal number 11 of the Rise Together Blueprint, increasing the number of students at or near the poverty level experiencing academic success. the Christmas tree resolution. And if you
The
all will come
exciting
forward.
one.
Good morning, Commissioners, Commissioner Brown, Commissioner O'Grady, Commissioner Boyce,
Morning.
Mr. Wilson, and Director. Thank you for the opportunity to once again come before you, one, to say thank you for last year's funding for the Health Sciences Academies. You know my philosophy. The bottom line is results. Everything else is rhetoric. We always want to show you what you're funding. Commissioner Boyce, I so appreciate the conversation that you raised. To my colleague Jane, thank you so much for the work that you're doing in that early 0 to 5 space that is so essential to us getting them in pre-K. The work that you're doing makes the work that we're doing from pre-K to 12 in the Health Sciences Academies possible. So we thank you for the work that is being done in that space so that when we get them, they're ready. And so, as you know, when we proposed the Health Sciences Academies, the university originally wanted to do East High School. And I know, Commissioner Boyce, that sits very well with you. But what I said to them is very much along the lines, Commissioner Boyce, of what you said. If we wait to give them rigor in high school, we've waited too late. And so we proposed to the university a 10-year commitment between the district, and our MOU is a 10-year commitment between OSU, PACT, and Columbus City Schools, because we know that it's a heavy lift.
Yes.
And I don't really care a whole lot about what people print. At the same time that, you know, the news media was saying that Champion was a school that people were afraid of, the school had a C on the grade card. So I don't read hype. What I look at are bottom lines, which are outcomes for kids. And so we're super excited today. In the past 2 years, we brought you Champion Middle School, but I want to show you that excellence is taking place all throughout our pipeline. And so today, we brought 5th graders from the Health Sciences Academies at Eastgate Elementary School. We have with us on the end a set. In the middle, we have Mr. Joshua, and then we have Aaliyah. I'm going to give the principal, who is absolutely the pride of the Near East Side, our principal, Mrs. India Wilson, an opportunity. And we also have 5th grade teacher, because we know that there's a shortage of male teachers. And I'm watching firsthand what happens when men are in our schools engaging with kids with Mr. Freeman. And so I'm going to turn the mic over to Mrs. Wilson, who, when I tell you, the best hire that I've ever been a part of in all my years of working in this space was Mrs. India Wilson. Every day I popped my collar and said, I helped to hire her.
Wow. Okay. Good morning, Commissioners. Thank you so much for having Eastgate here this morning. We are so excited to be here. We also want to say thank you for all of your support. Over the years, our students have flourished and blossomed. We always begin in August, and I tell my teachers, oh, don't worry. We definitely will see them bloom in the spring. And what we have learned through our work at Eastgate with our Health Sciences Academies is that we are motivating, inspiring, and empowering future health sciences, whatever. They don't have to be doctors. They don't have to be nurses. They can be research analysts. We let them know that the sky is the limit. So whoever you are becoming right now is who we are supporting them to be. And so at Eastgate, we have integrated the health sciences into our everyday core curriculum. So when they are in ELA, their language and reading in the morning, that 90-minute reading block, it's going to incorporate health sciences. Of course, in science, we incorporate it in math. It's incorporated even in our specials classes. We just want to make sure that they are constantly inundated with health sciences all throughout the curriculum. We have signature events at Eastgate, one of which is called our HSA Day. That's monthly. Monthly, we have a huge event. It's the last Tuesday of the month. It always starts around 1:30, and so you are always welcome last Tuesday of the month. And on an HSA Day, you can walk into the school, and building wide from pre-K to 5th grade, you will absolutely see students involved in experiments, involved in some sort of educational activity. We may have guest speakers there. Each of our homerooms have been adopted by a nurse from OSU East, so they have personal relationships with their nurses from OSU East. The teachers and the nurses, they collaborate, they lesson plan together. And so that's what we see monthly. Annually, we have our HSA Career Fair. Very excited about our career fair. Our students get to see themselves in the individuals who come and present. So they have met with cardiologists, neurosurgeons, obstetricians, registered nurses. Again, we have everyone to come and speak to our students and let them know where it starts. And it does start right now in elementary school, where they are finding out, these are my skills and this is what I love to do and I excel in this area, so why not take it as far as I can go. And we also have our career day, where the different specialists come in and they talk to all of our students. But the biggest piece is our Imagine Me Day, which follows Career Day. And that's when all of our students from pre-K to 5 showcase who they are becoming every day. So it's always huge, and we love to invite parents and anyone who sponsors us, all of the community, to come in on our Imagine Me Day, because they dress the part, they have a display, and we allow the students to choose how they're going to display. So they may do a skit, they may have a science project, it doesn't matter, but they want you to see, this is who I am becoming right now. And we also have another piece on Imagine Me Day, where we have a parent power hour, and we have parents of medical students come out and they share with our parents how to nurture a student into this career path. So we don't just talk the talk at Eastgate, we absolutely walk the walk. And so before I turn it over to our 5th graders, again, I want to say thank you for supporting all 6 of the Health Sciences Academies in Columbus City Schools. We absolutely appreciate all that you do. And so, Mr. Freeman?
I'm not going to talk. I'm just going to let these young adults do their thing up here. They're rock stars, so hope they won't be too nervous, and they like to be a little shy, so I'll just hold the mic for them. All right? You guys ready? Here we go.
Good morning. My name is Joshua McKinney. I am a 5th grader at Eastgate Elementary School. I've been at Eastgate since preschool and will be going to middle school next year. When I grow up, I want to become a scientist.
My name is Aaliyah Divers, and I'm a 5th grader at Eastgate Elementary School. I've been at Eastgate since 4th grade, and I will be going to middle school next year. When I grow up, I want to become a cardiologist.
My name is Aset Caldwell, and I'm a 5th grader at Eastgate Elementary School. I've been going to Eastgate since I was in preschool, and when I grow up, I want to be a radiologist and an entrepreneur.
Great. We are here today to talk about Eastgate and about the special studies we do at Eastgate Elementary. We focus on health and science along with our regular studies. We try to combine health and science into our everyday lessons. We also have monthly health science days where we do special experiments or cover special topics on the topics we cover is mindfulness and relaxation techniques for this lesson. Our teachers were teaching us different yoga poses to help us improve our posture. Doing these poses also gets our minds focused on how bodies are feeling in the moment.
Another experiment that we have done at Eastgate was monitoring our heart rate. Our teachers showed us one place on our wrist to help us count how fast our hearts beat per minute. First, we placed 2 fingers below the heel of our hand near your thumb. You then have someone watch the clock while you count each beat per minute. After 30 seconds, you can stop counting and multiply the beats you counted times 2 because there are 60 seconds in a minute. When we did this in class, we calculated our heart rate after doing certain exercises and talked about a healthy heart rate for our age group.
Water is one of the most important things for our body. And the planet, our body, is 70% water. Also, 70% of our planet is covered in water. And a human being can only survive 3 days without water. So it is safe to say we need water. The experiment that we have brought today with us is about water filtration. For this experiment, we tested different ways dirty and or contaminated water gets filtered to protect clean water. The minerals we used to create our filters were plastic bottles, cups, dirt, sand, rocks, and charcoal.
The goal of our experiment was to see which natural material produced the cleanest water sample. We assembled our water filters by the first putting mesh over the opening of the bottle. When we put in the materials we find in nature, such as dirt, sand, or rocks, into the bottles. Once we put in our natural filters, we poured water into our bottles and recorded the results. Having access to clean water is important for everyone in class. We have heard stories about cities in the world and United States that don't have clean water. By doing this experiment, we got the chance to understand how water can be contaminated and different ways to solve this problem.
Lastly, we wanted everyone to know that doctors recommend 8 8-ounce glasses of water per day. This will keep our bodies alert and running properly. We want to thank you all for having us today. We welcome you to come and visit Eastgate Elementary School during our Health Sciences Days to see some of the great experiments and lessons that we have learned.
So what did you learn from this experiment?
We have learned that some minerals will clean some water, like sand, rocks, and charcoal. And what we do is we put rocks, cotton balls, and sand in there to see if the water will come out clear, which it did. And that will make purified water.
So what works the best for you from what you learned? Which materials work better than others of the materials you have here?
I'll say cotton balls will work because it'll absorb most of the unpurified things that's not supposed to be in water. So I'll say cotton balls and rocks.
Not the charcoal, huh?
No, not the charcoal.
Interesting. Very good.
Yep. Commissioners, later on in January, an interesting day, and I'd love to invite you out the day that we have an ophthalmologist who visits all of our elementary schools, and our 5th graders, part of the curriculum for 5th grade in health sciences is that they dissect a cow's eye. And so it's a fascinating thing to watch with the masks and them actually doing dissection. Some of us didn't get dissection until high school in biology. Our kids are getting it now in elementary school. In 1st grade, they're dissecting a worm.
That's wonderful.
We're starting kids on the pathway very early.
It might be a little rough. I had eye surgery last year, so that might be a little rough for me.
That's great experience, and to do science and be interested in science and health sciences is really wonderful, and I'm so thrilled that we're funding these programs. It's any of the health science field that you go into, there's so many things you can do, and I'm thrilled that you're starting as young as you are and interested in health science, and the curriculum is outstanding. I remember going to the white coat ceremony in the elementary school several years ago, and it's exciting, and I think what you're doing is wonderful. So thank you for being here and sharing with us a little bit, just
great.
a little bit of what you're doing.
Thank you, Commissioners. We really appreciate you
I plan on getting
doing
over
this.
there.
Yeah, thank you. This is a generational investment.
It's wonderful, and it's
impressive.
long-term, and I look forward to seeing you when you're in the high school and doing what you're doing in a far more extensive way. So I'm hoping you continue your careers as scientists. I think you'll do well. So thank you.
Great job, guys.
Thank you.
Pending any questions? That's for approval.
I think that's amazing. Thank you.
If there are no further comments or questions, move for adoption of 839-19.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Boyce, Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown.
Yes.
Resolution number 839-19 has been adopted. Resolution number 840-19, resolution approving a subaward agreement with the Center for Healthy Families Incorporated for teen parenting and pregnancy prevention services in the amount of $250,000.
I don't want to hijack the agenda, but they are requesting if they can get a picture with the
Oh,
commissioners.
absolutely.
What that process is.
Sure.
I don't know if we wanted to wait to the end, Mr. Clerk, or how we want to do that.
I think we should get it now so that they can get back to class. Yeah, why don't we do that now?
I'm following your, listen.
They have class to get back to, huh? We don't want to keep you waiting. Oh, no.
Yeah, we're gonna get
Here, I'll move you guys around. It'll be over here.
I know. I got it. I got it. All right, if we can do this. Come on.
Great work. Keep it up.
Okay.
He's ready.
Okay. The Center for Healthy Families has provided coaching and support to more than 1,100 teen families in Franklin County since 2009. Our agency has funded the Parent Education Support Group, which is a program that provides teens with individualized planning for goals with delivering healthy families, increasing knowledge of safe sleep practices, delaying subsequent pregnancies, and helping them make a successful transition to parenthood. The center has served a total of 88 TANF-eligible parenting and pregnant teens over the course of the last contract. Under the new agreement, they will target 100 eligible pregnant and parenting teens. This resolution supports goal number 8 of the Rise Together Poverty Blueprint, improving maternal and child health among high disparity groups struggling financially. So pending any questions, I ask for approval of this resolution.
Who's the director of the Center for Healthy Family? Who's the executive director?
Chia
That's
Safa,
okay.
yes.
I wanted to make sure I had the right organization. If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 840-19.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Boyce. Commissioner Brown.
Yes.
Resolution number 840-19 has been adopted. Resolution number 841-19. Resolution approving a subaward agreement with the Girl Scouts of Ohio's Heartland Incorporated for youth enrichment programming in the amount of $25,000.
Bonds Beyond Bars was established over 20 years ago to help offset the profound psychological and social impacts of incarceration on girls whose mothers are in prison. This community-based troop meets twice a month at the Ohio Reformatory for Women. The troop also doubles as a support community for the girls, and they meet separately to discuss topics like anger management, domestic violence prevention, self-esteem, and mentoring. This resolution supports goal number 13 of the Rise Together Blueprint, strengthening partnerships with parents to increase support for young people. Pending any questions, I ask for approval of this resolution.
If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 841-19.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Boyce. Commissioner Brown.
Yes.
Resolution number 841-19 has been adopted. Resolution number 842-19. Resolution approving a subaward agreement with the Ohio Association of Food Banks for the management of work activities for the Food Assistance Employment and Training Program in the amount of $648,400.
In Ohio, able-bodied adults without dependents, or ABODs, must comply with monthly federal work requirements for the Food Assistance Employment and Training Program, or FAYET, in order to receive food assistance benefits. Over the past 6 years, our agency has contracted with the Ohio Association of Food Banks to coordinate and manage allowable work activities with FAYET. Over the last contract period, OAF served over 800 referred customers, providing individualized assessments and job readiness trainings and work placement. We are once again proposing to enter into an agreement with OAF to continue the coordination and management of the program, as well as developing their network of community-sponsored work sites over the next year. Pending any questions, I ask for approval of this resolution.
If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 843-19.
Second.
842-19.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Commissioner Brown.
Yes.
Resolution number 842-19 has been adopted. Resolution number 843-19. Resolution approving contracts with Deaf Services Center Incorporated, Hands On Central Ohio, and the Legal Aid Society of Columbus for Title 20 and TANF transfer services in the amount of $609,999.04.
Title 20 and TANF transfer services are intended to enable residents to improve self-sufficiency, support independent living, and strengthen family life. Our agency is responsible for administering Title 20 block grant funds locally via contracting for necessary services. We are proposing to contract with Deaf Services Center to provide case management, interpretation, and sign language for approximately 111 low-income deaf and hearing impaired residents. Hands On Central Ohio to provide information and referral services across Franklin County, and Legal Aid Society to provide legal assistance in civil matters for an estimated 43 low-income residents. Pending any questions, I ask for approval of this resolution.
If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 843-19.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Boyce. Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Commissioner Brown.
Yes.
Resolution number 843-19 has been adopted.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you. Justice Policy and Programs.
Resolution number 844-19. Resolution authorizing a contract with the Derek L. Owens Group LLP for the provision of workforce readiness services and brief interventions and referrals for alcohol and other drug misuse services in the Whitehall and Reynoldsburg Mayor's Court in the amount of $50,000.
Good morning, Commissioners. Michael Daniels, Director of the Office of Justice Policy and Programs. This resolution is for 2 contracts with the Derek L. Owens Group to provide early intervention services in the mayor's courts so that folks can get connected with workforce readiness, resumes, et cetera, and also get initial counseling. We know that a lot of times folks are, I can't get a job because I can't pass a marijuana drug test, or I can't get a job because I wake up hungover every Monday. And so these are those types of intervention services early so that we can get folks employed, get them out of the mayor's court, and keep them out of the municipal and common pleas courts. We'll be serving approximately 75 individuals in each of the mayor's courts, and we have letters of support on file from the city's attorney. Pending any questions, we would ask for your approval.
If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 844-19.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Commissioner Brown.
Yes.
Resolution number 844-19 has been adopted.
Thank you, Commissioners.
This is great. Thank you. Purchasing.
Resolution number 845-19, resolution approving purchases for various Franklin County agencies in the amount of $2,020,214.41.
Good morning, Commissioners. Megan Perry Ballinier, Director of Purchasing.
Marlise Wicker, Small and Emerging Business Coordinator.
This resolution seeks approval of 143 purchase orders for which the county auditor has pre-certified available funding.
This week's small and emerging business enterprise vendors include 18 eligible purchase orders, totaling approximately $134,000. These purchase orders for goods and services that have a higher likelihood of participation by small emerging businesses. Of these, 13 were awarded to small and emerging business firms, including goods and services of $128,052.04. which is 72% of the eligible PO value and 95% of the eligible purchase order dollar value.
Pending any questions, I request your approval of this resolution.
If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 845-19.
844. I'm sorry.
845.
You're right. I apologize.
Right this time. What's your problem, man?
I apologize.
Like I said, 845-19.
Yes, Commissioner. Moved and seconded. Voting, Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Actually, I never seconded.
Right.
See, the fun part about this is years ago, Dean, we didn't have a clerk. We didn't have the clerk call the roll and do all this stuff. But we started doing it just because, so that when there were screw ups, we could blame it on the clerk.
Well, guess what?
So I would like to second Commissioner Boyce's motion.
Thank you. Moved and seconded. Voting, Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Commissioner Brown.
Yes.
This is not a fraternity. We will not do any hazing.
Commissioner Brown, I'm sorry. I didn't hear you. Resolution number 845-19 has been adopted.
Thank you.
Thank you. Dean, I hope you have a better afternoon.
Thank you, Director.
Yeah. All right. Deep breath.
Board of Commissioners.
Resolution number 846-19. Resolution authorizing non-general fund supplemental appropriations and a transfer of funds for the payment of debt services and issuance of debt.
Good morning, Commissioners. Zach Tularic with the Office of Management and Budget. This resolution would authorize the payment of a December 1st debt service obligations of the county, as well as the refunding of the Series 2010 Recovery Zone Economic Development Bonds. The total amount of the payments would be just under $25.4 million. Pending any questions, would ask for your approval of this resolution.
Director, if you could just speak to the reduction in debt because it's a present value savings. Right?
Yeah, so as part of the refunding of the recovery zone, the principal amount was approximately $10 million. Just under $2 million was paid down with cash. The remaining $8 million represented about an 18% net present value savings.
Right, that's excellent. If there are no further comments or questions, move for adoption of 846-19.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Voting, Commissioner Boyce. Yes. Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Commissioner Brown.
Yes.
Resolution number 846-19 has been adopted. Resolution number 847-19. Resolution reappointing Charles A. Schneider to the Franklin County Law Library Resources Board.
Good morning, Commissioners. Eric Janis, Deputy Administrator. Pending any questions, would recommend Judge Schneider's reappointment.
I'm going to be voting yes on this, but I do just want to say on the record that I know we purchased software in 2018 with regards to our boards and commissions, and we have a number of really important board and commission appointments coming up. And I have to be honest with you, when I see so many of our appointments, even, for example, Jane Leach, who is here for Future Ready, our board appointment is Ken Wilson, right? You have to leave the counties. But so we have a number of those, and for me, I know my colleagues take our appointments very seriously, but I need more information on what's coming up, what the needs are for those board appointments, and I just haven't gotten it. We purchased software in 2018. I've requested a number of times for updates. And I don't want to make these coming appointments, which are critical appointments in terms of board appointments like the airport board and some of the others, without some organized information and data. And the only reason I'm bringing this up now is at this hearing is because we've asked for this several times, and I've been asking for it for months now, and so weeks now, and even on the record at times. And so I'm voting yes today, but I'm warning the administration now that I'm losing my patience because I really need this information. We purchased that software for a reason. I like it, and I want to organize my own thoughts, data, and information around who we're appointing, why we're appointing them, what that board does, how long that appointment is, when the next vacancy comes up. And I know the mayor and I have had the same conversation, and their Columbus is doing the same thing in terms of scrutinizing and looking very closer and deeper at their board appointments. And so I don't mean to hijack this meeting for that, but again, I'm just losing my patience because I think these board appointments are very critical. So, yep. So if there are no further comments or questions, move for passage of 847-19.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Boyce, Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown.
Yes.
Resolution number 847-19 has been adopted.
Any journalization?
No, Commissioner.
With that, we are adjourned.